You rolling? Yeah.
Okay.
Rolling.
Wait. Yeah. Right. Let me fuck it. You have to do that, innit? Like. Yeah. First ever episode. MOBBTALKS. We actually here.
We are here, boy.
Made it. This is kind of crazy. This has actually been like a bit of a dream for I think a lot of us to have a little spot that we could call our own in terms of a little outlet, like podcast outlet.
I feel like we had to do it though. If I'm honest, I feel like it was only right.
The plans were put in place time ago.
Yeah, let's just say that.
Waiting on the execution.
Season manifested.
They got
We're here now, yeah.
And we're here with Bobby Brown. What are you saying? What are you saying, man? How you doing?
Love.
How are you doing, my guy? What's life?
Blessed, bro, man. Yeah, busy week. You know, yeah, juggling lots of different things at the moment, man. But it's all good, bro. It's all moving in the right direction. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's feeling good, man. It's feeling good. What are you saying?
Bro, it's kind of
mobbing.
Surreal. We're
Steady
mobbing, man. We're steady mobbing, baby. I mean,
Mob
it's nice, man. It's nice. I mean, things have been really changing, obviously, for everyone over the last year. Like, so
a couple years, really.
Bro, exactly. Like, since lockdown and stuff, like, for people who don't know, you do a lot. Like, you work with a lot of artists. You work with some artists that have done some really big things, even just over the last year. So, like, what's that been like, man? Bouncing back from the coronavirus.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I mean, Frank and Harvey specifically, they released an album called Breathing Exercises at the end of February 2020. And obviously that was like 2 weeks before the actual lockdown was implemented. And that was like crazy because we had the whole campaign sort of plotted out and then that got brought to a halt. But really, like the album had like a life of its own over the lockdown. It got a lot of people, you know.
But it's actually crazy to be sat here with you right now, bro, to be honest, because I listened to these guys for years, bro, like going back to like
time, bro, because I'm a Brighton guy, innit?
Scribs, shout out Ski, he was the one that put me onto them like years ago, bro, because he was all about the Brighton vibe, you know.
I mean, as far as I know, Frankie's been putting in work from young.
Yeah.
Like,
from
mad
16,
young.
even before that, 14, 15.
He's one of the first people I've seen come up in Brighton, for real.
Yeah.
For real.
So they've been doing their thing, and then obviously off the back of the lockdown, it was September 20. Initially, we were supposed to be touring in May 2020, and it wasn't until September 21 that we actually got the tour fulfilled. So it was like there was that gap of 18 months, pretty much, of
He got us all stressed.
Got
us all stressed.
Yeah.
How did you handle that though?
It was just there were circumstances outside of our control, so ultimately we had to just focus on what we could control.
Yeah.
And in terms of the tour, there was like I think 3 or 4 reschedules, so that was keeping me busy, bro. It was very frustrating. I mean, by the time of the 4th reschedule, I was like, right, is this actually ever gonna happen?
Yeah.
And it did. And when it did happen, it was like taking the lid off, bro. It was a real like.
What was the crowd saying? What were the crowds like? Because they haven't seen these people perform in like over a year and a half.
Like. Let alone anyone.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, for real.
We managed to slot it in September 2021 because I think there was conversations, I think from October and November when we sort of went back into another lockdown of locking off the shows again. I remember Little Sims had a Brixton Academy run, I think 2 or 3 shows, and they were cussing her out on BBC Radio saying it's irresponsible to be inviting people. So it was a weird time.
Such a weird one.
There was a lot of flack. There was a lot of hate. And now look at it.
Crazy,
do you know what I mean?
Bro.
And now look at it and it's like, bro,
I think I must have seen Lethal Bizzle get flat.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because on the ground.
Everyone was getting the smoke, the COVID smoke.
But it was in the middle of like when it's like it's proper happening, and then it's like, all right, people are starting to ease up, but people are like, nah, it's not.
Yeah. So when it comes to live shows, it's an intense sort of emotion and feeling, the energy in the room like I've never felt before. Like a lot of people were letting off that
steam,
the steam or whatever they'd bottled up over the last 18 months. And,
accumulated,
there was tears, there was rage,
joy.
Do you know what I mean? There was joy. Man. Yeah, it was emotional, bro. For everyone involved, whether it's an audience member or someone involved in the production of the show. So yeah, man, crazy.
Big
And then
time.
since we've been doing a lot of other events with TNS as well, like in the clubs, outside of the clubs. So yeah, it's just just trying
It's
to.
things you can't explain though. Like you have to
adjust
be
them
there.
back to adjust them back to the
trying to hear that,
lifestyle,
like, just trying to hear that in the background. Do you know what I mean? And then the sign, the roar of the crowd, the roar of the crowd. Do you know what I'm saying? The roar of the crowd is real.
For 18 months, it was that one.
It was.
Yeah.
It's real.
Literally.
So what's your next plans? What's for the future, bro?
So if you're talking Frank and Harvey specifically, we've got a tour in for March, April next year.
2023.
Yeah. They've got an album dropping this year. We just dropped a single in August. We're going to drop another single in September. So that, a couple singles into the album, and then it'll be touring next year. So that's the plan, and then hopefully a good festival run and festival season. You know what I mean?
What are some of the highlights of the festival season you guys had so far? I mean, do you go to the shows? Like, do you go to the shows with them? Like,
definitely goes to the shows.
Because not all managers do that. You see what I'm saying?
A lot of managers don't.
A lot of managers will Eric. Not all managers hands on like that. You see what I mean?
A lot of managers don't go to the shows. They, you would assign.
For me, that's like, bro, that's a big red flag.
Well, I don't.
I get it, but like, I get someone's time.
If a manager's got multiple acts and multiple commitments, I mean, it's very rare that one act will provide enough income for a manager to live on.
So in terms of management for them, you do everything for them. Tour manager.
I don't do their tour management
because I thought that's what you was like before. But I got it twisted. You see what I'm saying?
No. So tour manager is Jacob, he's one of
the from TNS.
Yeah.
Shout out Jacob, me in the blood clot team.
That's like the right hand right there, man. Yeah, Jay do loads of stuff together. But I first got introduced to Jacob through Frank and Harvey. Yeah. So Jay was sort of doing the road stuff with them.
It's in house like that.
Yeah, it's all in house. It's all family. There's one point the mum and dad were printing the merch, bro.
Yeah,
and
for
like,
real.
Do you know what I mean?
That's bare. That's
a commitment,
bro. Yeah, for real. That's backing. That's backing. Yeah, shout out Mumsy. Yeah,
proper family business, bro. Like we're very resourceful. We use what we have at our disposal around us. You know what I mean? We do what we can with what we have. You know what I mean?
Do you have like other artists, or is like Frankie like your main?
Yeah, I mean, I've had other artists.
You're working with Eva a little bit.
Yeah, I'm working with Eva.
Oh yeah,
you know Eva. She's cold. Eva's cold, man. Self-produced, like
really.
Yeah, bro. For real.
I mean, her voice is amazing.
It's legendary. And when you hear her like perform live, I think you really get to see like a bit into like, this is a star in the making. You know what I'm saying? Like she's got that mindset. Yeah,
so I've been sort of helping develop Eva for a while, sort of through Audio Active, and now I'm heading up the Emerge stuff. So I'll be helping, sort of the artist development program at Audio Active, which is called Emerge, and Eva and Changing Currents. They're both sort of successful applicants of that at the moment. So we're working out their campaign for the next 6 months up until March. So yeah, Changing Currents, Eva, I'm working with at the moment. Frank and Harvey, that's the main project. I was working with Carl Benjamin up until not too long ago. We got the EP out last year.
Nice.
We did deal with Atlantic in 2019, but that project was sort of heavily affected by the lockdowns and the pandemic. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, Carl, Ellie Ingram before that. I've worked at Disturb in London, which had like Tiny Temper, A2, Sasha Keeble, Wizkid was there at the time. Bane was there.
You ever heard of PURPLECITYMOBB? Ever heard of Bijan? Check them out. I had a pretty lit.
It's actually the coldest in the city, is what I heard.
For really.
It's funny you talk about artist development actually, because this is something that I think is really, really interesting, and it's really important now for like, especially around our scale, the scale just below our scale, just even just above us, like. The labels don't do artist development no more, like from the ground, from the same level that it was like 20 years ago. That's kind of like a given. I think a lot of people understand that.
I think you can do it DIY
now. Exactly.
People have already like branded themselves way before the label.
People have the technology. People have the access to the tools. Like you can produce your whole stuff. Like Eva, for example, like she's self-producing, filming her videos, editing her videos. Like we do it. Like you guys do it. Like in house. So when it comes to artist development, and this is my question, is like. What are the areas that you're like, okay, cool, obviously it's going to be different for each artist, but what are the things that you're like, you gotta have this and this?
Numbers, like, really, innit?
I'm not really a numbers guy, to be honest. I'm not like
numbers do count though, for real.
Yeah, well they do, but they're also manipulated. More than ever at the moment. So
they can lie. People think numbers can't lie, but they can. And they can be misinterpreted.
But you think these big artists like DJ Khaled and that, like paying for like streams?
100%. They're the ones paying for the most, bro.
Not necessarily paying for streams, but they're investing heavily into the marketing and the promotion of their music.
Millions of pounds.
Yeah,
millions of pounds on marketing.
Millions, man.
You know, so
even one billboard is like, bro, you're talking big money. Like,
Times Square.
Yeah, bro, for real, man.
Stupid money.
Well then, so where do you start? Like, obviously, it
depends where the artist is at. I start where the artist is at.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And ultimately, there's, you know, you have to make sort of a realistic target, or you have to identify a realistic path for the time frame that you're likely to be working together, or the capacity that you have to work on the project. So, you know, certain people are further along than others, you know, they're starting from afresh. You know, for me, the most important process in music is getting the master, is getting the record down consistently. Do you know what I mean? Because it's all good and well pulling together one single, but then for me, it's the follow-up. What are you going to do consistently? How are you going to consistently engage and entertain and service your audience? Do you know what I mean? And
what's coming next after? Let's say you drop one single, it's not enough.
Exactly.
Like,
what does the run?
The plan?
Like for me, music and life is about runs.
Look at Lil Wayne, man. Look at the feature run. Like there's a reason why there's certain.
See, every podcast I'll be watching, people be like, "Yeah, that run that summer was amazing," but then they fell off because sometimes people get to the top and they don't know how to maintain.
For real. Fetty Wap, do you know what I mean? Like people have been massive hits.
I feel that was a bit different.
That's what RD's actually done really well. He just came with the follow-up every time. He came with the follow-up. That's
he's in prison right now, man.
Yeah, I know, it's mad.
Times changed, bro.
Fetty.
He's in prison for like a while.
Because he was too involved with the street star, I think. That's what I think is what it was, man.
One foot in, one foot out.
Yeah,
bro.
For real.
But that's a lot of. We were actually saying this yesterday. Like so many people like come from, that's their backstory. Like come from the streets.
Yeah.
But even when you don't come from from the streets, even when you're just working class, do you know what I'm saying? Like, you get a big money, you get a big check. What the fuck do you do?
I mean, he blew racks on his whole team, innit? He made his whole team, every single one have cars.
Yeah.
Like money, bro, I don't know. Clearly, there was something wrong there, but you know, it is what it is, isn't it?
I mean,
where are you from originally?
In what? So where was I born?
Yeah.
I was born in Lewisham, South East London, but I've been in Brighton since 6-7 years old.
Yeah.
So like Brighton for me is like, it's where I sort of identify with. But yeah,
I've
got you know, my fam, my aunts, my nan, my granddad, they're all in Lewisham, Deptford, and then my dad lives in Stockport, Manchester. So my brother and my sister's up in Manchester. So I sort of spread myself across.
The Northern connection.
That's what I'm saying, man. So yeah, I got sort of
love the Northern connection.
This one does.
Man.
Yeah.
Shout out Leicester.
Come on, mate. Come on, lad.
So yeah, I'm sort of I'm very in touch with like the wider UK culture. Do you know what I mean? From sort of like the northern culture, and then.
Have you got like a favourite part of the UK?
I don't know. Yeah, I got a lot of different. I got like favourite
like pockets.
Yeah, little pockets. You know, Bristol. I love Bristol, man.
The Bristol
vibe.
What about Bristol?
Crazy, bro.
It's just it's like
the
Brighton
vibes,
on steroids.
Yeah. It's a uni city, isn't it?
It's true.
The first time I went there was the carnival, bro. Like it just so happened to be
Really?
bro, it's unbelievable, bro.
Yeah, they've got a strong sort of Jamaican root in there. St. Paul's.
Port City, innit?
Yeah. I got a lot of love for Bristol. Leeds is cold as well. I enjoy going up to Scotland. Scotland's a good vibe. Like the UK has got a lot to offer. But people just got to travel, man. You've got to move about. And that's why I think it's so important for artists to tour.
I think people are starting to see it more, though. Definitely the UK is on a comeuppance for real,
yeah,
bro.
very much so. I mean, we were saying downstairs, weren't we, that like it's sort of there's more culture and community popping up outside of London.
Yes.
Yes, as if you're filming in that moment. Yeah, dog. Shout out Grapevine on the camera.
Yes.
Shout out Grapevine on the camera.
The one and only.
Episode 1. Go on. We can't all cheers because Trick doesn't have a bloody drink.
Cheers with the phone.
God damn it, Trick.
My bad.
Ruining the whole episode.
We already toasted anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Screw this, man.
You man just say the stuff to make me jealous. I don't care, you know.
Shut up.
All the time.
I'm gonna ask an interesting question. And seeing as we got you here, what's something that you would like to see us do just as a group in Brighton that you think would add to the culture?
What would I like?
What are we missing? What we missing?
Heavy.
What we missing?
Are we talking about generally speaking? Or
what are we talking? What are the moves? What are the moves that you're like? Yeah, it needs to level up. It needs to go this way. Big question.
Yeah, it is quite a big question.
Big
bro,
question.
to be honest, because
Yeah.
I
say you need to level up
from the outset. What's the one thing like? Oh, why aren't these man doing this? That you. It doesn't even just have to be about us either. That can be something that's probably
a little bit of
a repeat complaint that you see on Instagram. You're like, why are these man all?
You can just give us some game.
Yeah, some game.
Man said, just give us some game.
Yeah.
What's your perfect advice for an artist?
Man said, Barbie, give us some game.
Yeah, I think like for me, people are too focused on like the larger numbers, whereas if you can serve a smaller community of people and really engage them and satisfy them to the point that they're willing, they're willing to invest in you and part with their money in exchange for your offer.
Yeah.
I think that's incredible. You know what I mean? But I think it's like I'm a big fan of like the 1,000 true fans sort of model.
Yeah.
And if you've got 1,000 people willing to part with, £100 a year, you're in a good position. You've got a business model there. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Scalability.
So, but then on a ground level, I think just people more collaboration. You know what I mean? I think we're in sort of a very individualistic sort of space at the moment, and it's like there's a lot of kind of polarization and like this thing is for this community, this thing's for this community.
It's like very splintered, very like fragmented.
Everything feels quite
siloed.
fragmented.
But it used to be like that years ago. It used to be like people were.
I remember when me and
Trick
first came to this, like, well, not even first came to the city, but started getting our foot in the music game, like 2018, maybe 2017. And it's like, it's almost like a completely different set of faces, a completely different cast to who it is now because of that fragmentation. Do you know what I mean?
Even then in Brighton, bro, you got to remember that so I'm 24. So when I first started rapping, like year 9, year 10, it was with a couple of people, and it was really, people around my age weren't rapping in Brighton like that. As I remember, it was always me and the older lot, like Seasoning, Frankie. I was never, but even then I wasn't that active. That's just what I saw. Because I was putting like videos out like hella. See what I'm saying? Around that time. Then I stopped, and then when I come back and linked up with you, 2017 times, everyone's rapping. And
it's so different now. The new scene is crazy in Brighton.
You see the group thing, the group thing. You need to remember that we're already known people before we even made PCM. So it kind of gives us the leverage to be like, okay, cool. Well, these guys are already know and they already do their thing.
Plus,
there's already momentum.
We built that community of people as well. Like he was just saying about the 1,000 true fans. It's always like the same ones and then more. Do you know what I'm saying? Every single time.
You see the regulars.
They show out every time. Man.
We got to keep doing that though. That's the thing, because I think like what you're saying, like being able to go tour and see that, like, because right now we see that like in our city locally. Like the next step for us is getting out there and going to London, going to Bristol, going to Manny,
going to Nottingham,
hitting those places, and then coming back, like you said, the follow up, coming back, and then seeing those same faces again, and they're still going just as hard. They've brought a couple friends, and then you come back the third time, and it's like, okay, cool, the room's a bit fuller now. We're a little bit higher up the lineup. Blah, blah, blah.
Really, I think really and truly, like your hometown is the last place to really show you love.
Yeah, for real.
Like when you go away.
Been saying that.
You've got to go away and come back. They need to see that other people are connecting with your thing to be okay, cool.
Because your friends know you, bro. Like
exactly.
They look past the music a little bit. It's not their fault, but it's just because it's like
they've got a
friends.
Preconceived.
Exactly.
Like people who don't know you through the music, bro.
All the people from back home.
For real.
And they relate to your music. They don't relate to you.
So it's like a barrier. It's like a barrier that you actually have to overcome. You wouldn't think it's a barrier because you think it's actually easier because they already know you. But there's something mysterious about an artist that the only interaction you have through their little interview clips and through their little music.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm conscious of the time, and I get obviously, Bobby. You're an important man right now because you're a father. You're a father.
Fatherhood.
Make some noise for the father. Make some noise for the father. Make some noise for the father in the room.
Yeah, breathing season.
I don't know how to use this.
It's got to be the yellow one. It's got to be the yellow thing.
I just hit that.
Yeah, run it.
Run it.
That's for you, my Dan. That's for you, my Dan.
Listen, what's it like being a father, though?
It's incredible, bro. It's the legacy. It's
I
the
asked Frankie when I seen him.
It's
very like,
legacy.
Legacy. That's the legacy.
I bet you men are swapping game, though, because you both, this has happened.
Our little boys are like 2-3 weeks apart. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, for real?
Age, And that wasn't even planned. Like, it's crazy. So we're going through this experience together. We took both our boys to Glastonbury together.
You mad? Nah, run that again. Run that again.
share the experiences, and you know they're sort of progressing at a very similar rate, and you know they go on play dates all the time, and the mums are close. It's like it's a beautiful thing, man.
That's so good.
Beautiful thing.
Can't lie, that's mad. That's actually hard with one of your brothers as well. That's mad.
And you're doing work with them together, like so. It's like it's the future. Do you know what I mean? Like, seeds,
carry
legacy.
on, bro.
Yeah, I'm godfather. I'm godfather to Frankie's.
Come on, man.
Well, so it's like, you know, there's like more responsibility than my own as well. It's like it's very much the next chapter in my kind of journey and my career. Sort of, you know, everything's
for them.
It's for them. You know what I mean?
I feel that
focus,
too. I just became an uncle. My sister just had a baby.
Shout out the kids.
Even then, I was like, I feel like I got more responsibility in myself now. Like, you know what I'm saying, for them.
Yeah, lead by example, man.
Exactly. How old are you, brother?
I'm 31 years old now.
Come on, my guy. Come on, my guy.
Doing so well.
Looking 24 now.
Yeah, come on. Come on, looking
skin
clean,
fresh, Colgate.
Cold water washes.
Cold water. Himalayan salts.
Yes.
The face scrub. Brown sugar. Listen, Bobby, it's been an absolute pleasure, bro.
Yes,
thank you so much for coming in, bro.
It means, honestly, bro, first episode with you, like being on here means a lot to us, bro. Honestly,
I appreciate it a lot. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to listening back to the other episodes as well, man. You've got some wicked guests coming through, man. So
appreciate you so much.
Start off with a bang.
Yeah.
For real,
wicked, man.
For real. Listen, man. We like it tough. We like it tough. We like it tough.
It's been Mobb Talk.